Suicide is a leading cause of death for First Nations, Inuit, and Métis here in Canada, and my research seeks to better understand the ways in which environmental factors such as climate change and industrial development come to impact mental health so that we can better support Indigenous communities. I'm Jeffrey Ansloos. I'm an Associate Professor of Indigenous Health and Social Policy at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education at the University of Toronto, where I also serve as the Canada Research Chair in Indigenous Studies of Health, Suicide Studies, and Environmental Justice. I'm a citizen of Fisher River Cree Nation in Manitoba. We're living in an extraordinary time where we are directly experiencing the effects of global temperature changes. And on top of that, access to Indigenous people's lands are increasingly in the sights of those seeking to develop critical minerals. And so development projects are proposed to be happening almost everywhere throughout rural, northern, and remote regions of Canada, places where Indigenous people live. The research for this fellowship is based off a project that I've led, which works to better understand the role of environmental impact assessments and monitoring practices and potential impacts for mental health and suicide risk. And it's based off of 5 case studies that were in partnership with First Nations and Inuit communities that have simultaneously experienced substantive environmental changes due to climate change and major industrial development projects occurring within their territories and a high prevalence rate of suicide. I want my research to help strengthen the rights of Indigenous peoples in our relationship to our lands and in relationship to our lives. Any decisions that happen at the level of environmental policy need to more fulsomely anticipate impacts on all parts of the ecosystem, including the mental health of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities. I'm so grateful for the Dorothy Killam Fellowship. It's a tremendous privilege and honor to be awarded, and this fellowship is going to provide substantial time for me to devote to the knowledge mobilization aspects of my research. I'm also really delighted that impact is a cornerstone of this fellowship, really thinking critically about how we share information that's generated from research in ways that actually have a tangible effect at making the lives of community members better.